to the Franchise Growth Show, where we don't just talk scale, we talk transferability. I'm Joe Carter, the founder of the Twin Flame Group and partner with the Franchise Consulting Company. I built, scaled, and sold multiple companies, including franchises, as well as worked inside private equity doing due diligence on over $14 billion worth of deals. So I know what makes buyers chase and what makes them walk. And today's guest, she's scaling purpose with profit. Emily Hazard from Fortidia is here to break down how PostNet's model works, why it wins, and what kind of owner thrives within the model. But before we do, quick shout out to our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the Dallas-Fort Worth Pierce Bespoke franchise, the go-to clothier for founders and executives who want to look as sharp as they think. If you've already built a business, now go build your look. Pierce Bespoke will craft custom pieces for founders who know that presence is a part of performance. But let's jump right into it. Emily, welcome to the Franchise Growth Show.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe. It's great to be here. What an honor.
Absolutely. We're super excited to be hearing from you. I know you've got many, many years with this brand, so we can't wait to just absorb knowledge from you. Quick hit to get us started. I know it's not just PostNet that you represent. So who are you? What do you do? And ultimately, as we navigate towards PostNet, why does PostNet matter right now?
Great question. So my name is Emily Hazard, like you said. I've been with Fortidia for 4.5 years in a couple of different roles. So I actually moved over from the consumer marketing side, and now I'm on the franchise development team. I work with a bunch of different brands. So we're actually a global company based out of Milan, and we have brands across the entire world. But here in the US, based out of Colorado, we've got PostNet, Alpha Graphics, and World Options. So all in that kind of B2B area, industry like landscape, and really focused on business services specifically. So shipping and printing across our 3 brands. They're all pretty different, which makes my job really fun because they're similar but different, in these industries. So yeah. And then like you said, I've been working with PostNet for a while now. So I have actually really been lucky to be a part of PostNet, again, on the consumer marketing side. So helping out our new centers as they do open and trying to help them be successful from day one. So yeah, super excited to be here.
Love it. And I love that shift, from shipping to full service B2B. That shows what happens when a brand can reinvent an entire industry. What's one common misconception that people have about the business service category?
I would say that they don't need it, like that they don't need that help. We actually find that most people, they need an extension of their team, especially if you're in the small to micro business. Looking at a partner like PostNet is so helpful because they can be that extension of your team without you having to go and hire somebody else to do it in-house. So whether that's printing or just marketing, being your designer, or helping you if you're a home-based business, ship everything that you possibly can to potential customers. So just kind of being that extension of a team. But a lot of times we find that customers don't really think that PostNet can be that, or that they need that in general,
I love that. And it actually, in my opinion, what showcases that the service franchise is actually super compelling. Boring can be beautiful when it comes to business models, but y'all help them to scale and systemize their operations when they don't have the capability to do it internally. I love it. Yeah. PostNet's model, it goes beyond just shipping, right? So what is the full scope today of a PostNet franchise?
Yeah, we started with shipping originally, so the name PostNet, right? Sounds like a shipper. Into the business model, we wanted to continue to grow and look for ways for our franchisees to continue to make money and grow their business and make sure that they have a viable business to support their families or whatever they want to do with their future. So now we are all in the print space as well, along with boxes. Most recently, our biggest one we found a lot of success with is adding virtual mail. And so again, kind of just trying to be that all-in-one provider for a customer of everything I need is in one place. The beauty of a PostNet is that we're not like some of our competitors where we can only work with one specific shipping provider. We have partners with all of them. And so that allows us to kind of like differentiate ourselves in the market a little bit by allowing customers to pick which, providers they want to use. So it's, like I said, fun business to be in because we're really trying to cover as many parts of the that like business services categories we can.
I love that. And from a franchisee standpoint, multiple revenue streams under one roof builds margin, resilience, and certainly scalability. So amazing job to you and your team for scaling across that venture.
Thanks.
What
Well,
makes... Oh, sorry,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say for them too, it's so important of like what might be really important here in Colorado. It might not be really important in New York City. Maybe someone just needs a really great shipper, but here we need more printers. It allows our franchisees to be really adaptable to their specific markets and focus on, instead of we only do shipping, we only do printing. They can really focus in on one or two, or kind of adapt to their market. So it's cool.
It's super cool. And it's an amazing segue to like the next question I have, which is what makes PostNet differentiated from other franchise systems that are similar in the space?
Yeah, PostNet is my favorite thing about the brand is the connection that our owners have with their customers. And so, especially in the business services kind of realm or industry, it's very easy to be very transactional, where you just kind of walk in, you hand someone a package, or you say, I need business cards, and then they maybe take your name, maybe, hopefully, and then you walk out and you go on your way. I can honestly say most of the PostNets I've been in, you're standing there, maybe having some kind of interaction with the person behind the counter. Someone will walk in and be like, "Oh, hey, Emily. Oh, hey, blah, blah, blah." So it's kind of like this first name basis that we really pride ourselves on, and having that customer interaction, which separates us a lot from a lot of others. Like I said, we want to be the extension of their team. And so we want them to feel like, hey, you can pick up the phone and call us and we can help you with whatever. Or if we can't do it, we're happy to give you a recommendation of someone who can. So yeah, we really like strive to provide everything all under one roof, but also just like with a smile, or, on that first name basis.
That's fantastic. I couldn't agree more. Getting past transactional relationship to really emotional connection is how you can really put yourself inside of that local community around your store and be able to drive networking connections and things of that nature. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it becomes like this community hub instead of just, again, I'm walking in to give you a package and then I go on with my day, which is totally fine. If that's what you want, that's great. But we want to be able to provide that extra service if you feel like you can trust us with anything that you need.
Absolutely. And I know we referenced the multiple revenue streams a little bit ago, and certainly several of those have the capacity for recurring revenue. So how does that play into franchisee success?
Recurring revenue is so important for any franchise or really any small business, right? You want to be able to pay your rent month to month. You need to be able to pay your rent to month. And so having recurring revenue, like, for example, mailboxes is a big one for us. The more mailbox customers you have, typically you sign them for multiple months. And so you can count on that revenue coming in month to month. That allows our franchisees to, again, just have revenue always coming in, but also to be able to kind of dabble in other things too, or like invest their time. And maybe I want to learn more about printing. And I know that this month I might put some more effort into that. But if I have that recurring revenue coming in, I'll be okay. So it allows them to take a little bit more risks or just kind of try something new in their specific market. So
Love that. Love that. Having been a small business owner myself multiple times over, recurring revenue is like the holy grail to most small businesses. If you got it, you're pretty much good. If you ain't got it, you're pretty much back. So it's a stabilization not just on cash flow, but on scalability, really.
Yeah, definitely.
What is
go ahead.
Go ahead. What is a typical day? My bad.
A typical day for PostNet owners. Man, I feel like they have so many different days. There is no typical day, You're gonna go and you're gonna
101. Yeah.
Yep. Which is fun. I mean, that's kind of why you get into being a small business owner, is to not have the monotony of working in the same place every single day or doing the exact same thing every single day. But a typical PostNet owner is kind of like a jack of all trades. You know, they are the ones that are not only ordering things like ordering boxes, or even helping like troubleshoot where a package is for a customer. But they're also the ones that are doing the accounting, they're hiring employees, they're doing a lot of different things. We also really stress here at headquarters that our franchisees need to get out of their centers. It's so easy to just like come in, sit behind the counter, and get stuck in the people are coming in, which is great. But if you want to continue to grow your business, you have to get out, and you have to be proactive of going and making connections, whether that's at the Chamber of Commerce or just like knowing your neighbors. Neighboring is huge. Being involved in like little league teams, the local PTA, if you have kids, all of that is super important for our centers. So there isn't really like a typical day, with maybe the exception of the UPS driver coming at 5 o'clock every day to pick up all the packages. But I actually think it's kind of fun for that reason. Something's always going to be a little bit different and keeps you on your toes.
100%. And to your point, getting outside of your four walls is a way to bring in future revenue. And in order to do that, you probably have to have a team that's doing it while you're out there, making those network connections. So you got to be able to lead people, build relationships. If you can do that, this is potentially a good fit for you. If you can't do that, then this might not be the right fit.
Yeah. Well, and like people want to buy from people that they know, and
100%.
So it takes like a bigger brand. And if Emily's out in the community and knows Joe really, really well, now it becomes, oh, I trust her because I know her. And of course I want to go do business with her, because I know she's going to do a good job. Or like, she's got kids that are on my son's baseball team. Like I'll see her and I can always bug her if something isn't going well, Yeah. So like I said, people want to do business with people that they know. And it takes like this big brand and humanizes it, which is really, really important to us.
Absolutely. You got the brand recognition behind you with PostNet, but you really got to be, a community involver, in my opinion. Yeah. We have a PostNet right up the road. I know the owner. I've met him several times. To your point, like I've seen him at smaller sporting events locally here, as well as some of like the HOA association little shindigs and events that they do. So seen him multiple times, and that creates an engagement level where, as a result of that, I've used his services before. Yeah, 100% agree with you.
Yeah, no, it's so important, especially as a small business owner. Like you have to be your own biggest advocate. We can do as much as we possibly can from Lakewood, Colorado, in the headquarters, but your best advocate is yourself, because that's who they're actually doing business with.
Totally agree. So you referenced the corporate office, right? How much or what type of support does the PostNet corporate team provide specifically during the ramp up and initial stages period, and then ultimately beyond that?
Yeah, so we have over 200 centers across the U.S. and Canada. So we've been doing this for a little while, which is good. But lately, full transparency, we've actually been looking at our new center programs and trying to figure out ways to make them even better, because we want new owners coming into our network to be successful from day one. And we want to make sure that they, this is a great investment for them, or a great endeavor. So our team here at the HQ has really, in the last year, been taking this like new center focus really, really seriously. So we have marketing team we have a couple of people that are specifically here for new owners. We do have our field ops team that does a lot of training with new owners, and then we have our initial owner training as well. So really trying to make sure that like from day one they're ready to go within reason. Like you can come here to Colorado for your initial owner training and spend 5 days of intensive printing, shipping, how to run a business, everything. But we also know it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Yeah. It's a lot of information, which is good. You need all of that. But how much we retain is not always all of the information. And so our team does its best to make sure that we're regularly checking in with new owners. So they'll check in with like their regional director, I believe at least once a week, and then they'll have follow-up training. And then they also work with our marketing team on their initial marketing plan. So that consists of everything from their digital presence to traditional marketing to just, how do you market yourself? So yeah,
Love
really,
that.
really a big focus for us right now.
And I couldn't agree more. Most small businesses, especially franchises, in the initial onset is like drinking through a fire hose. And so if you can't learn to at least get a few sips in there, you're just going to drown. But
Yeah.
the fact that you create a strong onboarding and operational system helps them to get to that faster ramp and ultimately less burnout, which is always a potential possibility when you're drinking through a fire hose. We don't want people drowning out there. So
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
franchise buyers want. That support
Yeah.
that you provide to them.
Right. I mean, that's why you buy a franchise, is to be a part of a system that's proven, that you can easily plug into. And we don't expect our owners to be printing, to have any experience in printing. We want it, or shipping, or business services in general. We just want people that are excited about the brand, that want to learn, and then we're happy to show them. So, and help them become the kind of expert. So,
Love
yeah.
that. Love that. Who's the ideal owner within the PostNet franchise? And are there any potential red flag things to be cautionary around when it comes to the ideal customer, or
Yeah.
excuse me, owner?
So, kind of like we've already talked about, for us, being that owner, and in the center is really important to us because you're your biggest own advocate. So being that owner operator specifically is something that we look for. A red flag for us would be someone that wants to be an absentee owner, that might not live in the area that they're looking to open up a center, or that just doesn't want to be there at least a couple of days a week. We want to make sure that our owners know the pulse of their center, so that if there's anything that comes up, we can help triage it right away, because they know what's going on. So that's really important to us. And like I said, our owners are the best part about our brand by far. Printing and shipping, business services is great, but it's the people that make the brand what it is. And so we're really looking for people that are, again, excited and want to be a part of the center, want to help grow the entire network.
100% agree. Income doesn't mean passive involvement, especially those first 12, 18 months, whatever, when you're
Yeah.
initially scaling. The more involved you are, the more successful your launch will be. So that model rewards that level of engagement. So I love that.
Yeah. Well, and even just being like a mentor for employees too. We have a couple of centers, or a lot of centers, that have really great center managers. But a great center manager comes from having a great owner that wants to invest the time in that specific employee and help them grow, and then empower them from there. So, it all really starts with the owner.
I love that. And I'd love to just go a layer deeper, if possible, in reference to kind of the onboarding and initial training of an incoming franchisee. We've referenced, they're going to obviously come to HQ and get some pretty in-depth hands-on training. There's obviously support your team provides post that. But what's those first 12 to 18 months look like for the initial ramp-up period of a new owner?
Yeah. A lot of it starts before they ever open. So as soon as they sign that franchise agreement, we're already booking them to come to training, ideally at least or within a month of when they're going to actually open. So again, it's fresh because, drinking out of a fire hose, right? So they'll come here to Lakewood for 5 days of really intensive training with our learning and development team. I will note, one of the nice things about being part of a global brand is that what we're doing here in Lakewood, we also run by our team in Milan, or the team in Australia, or the team in the UK, because we're all in the same industry. That helps us align in the training and see ways that we can grow with one another. And so it's actually really cool to be a part of a global brand like that. We have over 2,800, it might even be more, 200 centers across the world. Yeah, between all 10 brands. So there's a lot of information sharing. So that helps us a lot in just refining the ways that we help serve our franchisees. But once they open, they will be visited by one of our onboarding specialists who will come to their center and again do a week-long training with them as things are starting to open, and then actually help them open and be there for a day in the center. Then they'll get follow-up training a couple of months after. So if anything comes up where they're I remember going over this in training, but I don't know how to do it that well, can we do this again? Then we'll have a field person that's actually there to show them how to use the machine correctly, or how to use the POS system to its full capabilities, all of that. In the meantime, they're working really closely with our marketing team because I'm a marketer. Marketing is key to success. And so they have a marketing fund that they pay into that helps get them started. And then our marketing team helps make sure that that money gets spent well so that we're driving leads and conversions to them and getting people to come through the door. It is really hard to get out of the center. I know I said that that's really important to us, but we understand that it's really hard, especially in those first few months where you're just trying to get your feet underneath you as much as possible. So our marketing team tries its best to make sure that people are getting customers in to the center and they don't have to do too much work outside, and then really pushing them to take it a step further from there. Within the 12 to 18 months, we also have things like performance groups. So that's something that I've learned a little bit more about with other franchises that kind of makes us unique. So we'll have like peer groups within our network, but a lot of times these focus on specific products or services. So maybe Joe wants to grow in virtual mail, but doesn't know where to start. We'll have a franchisee that's really great at that will come and speak to this group, and then we'll have this group for 3 or 4 months meet at least once a month or once every 2 weeks and check in. Say you want to focus on virtual mail? Great. How are we going to do that? How are we going to actually grow this for you? And is it working? Then like the marketing team will come and give them all of the assets that they need. The sales team will come and say, hey, these are some ways to cross-sell, upsell, and start driving this in your center, and then we can grow from there. So there are a lot of opportunities to continue to grow. It's just whether or not people use them.
I love that. That's a fantastic marketing, like onboarding ramp period playbook that you just kind of follow. And the fact you have a mentorship program to support them even further of, I want to do XYZ because it's going to be needed within my marketplace. And there's somebody else somewhere in all of that network that you have, not just within PostNet, but elsewhere, that can tell me exactly how to leverage that, how to do it, how to be successful, and coach me along the way is amazing.
And it's nice for us too, as like that headquarters team, because we have these brands across the world. They might see that something's worked really well for them, or a product or service is performing really well in the Netherlands. They're like, hey, you might want to try this. And then we can pilot it with some of our centers in our 3 different brands. It's a cool time to be a part of Fortidia in general, but really PostNet is such a great brand.
Couldn't agree more. And great marketing equals leverage, and especially in the initial on stages. So that's where you as the franchisor is bringing demand generation to the table, and that shifts everything because it escalates and speeds up your profit margin and your ability to get to break even and ultimately cash flow. So that's awesome. As we pivot over to one of the most common questions that I get from my clients that are evaluating franchise brands is tech stack. So what kind of tech stack is in play for a new onboarding franchisee within PostNet?
Good question. We use a whole bunch of different things. Like any franchisor, right? Our tech stack is pretty large. Oh boy, I don't even know where to start. It's so large, but we have a proprietary POS system that was created by our parent company, Fortidia, that they actually drove in or created in Milan first and has gotten moved over to PostNet. And the whole idea there is to help grow or to help provide more insights into what they're selling and everything. So that's called Hub, which is a big one. We also have a company that's underneath our broader umbrella at Fortidia called PrintSpeak. And as of recently, they've created a version of it for us that's it's called SalesSpeak. And what that is it's a CRM. And it allows our franchisees to get more data into their customers, track different quotes and inquiries that they've had, target them with email marketing, a whole bunch of different things, everything that a really powerful CRM can do. We use that on the alphographic side too, for print quotes, and it's very, very powerful. And the nice thing about PrintSpeak is that because it's part of our broader umbrella, we have more of a line to them to be able to make edits to the program or suggests features. There's actually a guy here in the office, his name is Sam, that works with PrintSpeak. So it's very easy to walk over and say, hey, have you guys thought about this, adding this or adding that, which is really helpful. In terms of just, like our franchisees marketing, we use programs like Yext to help manage all of their listings. Really powerful program that allows us to make sure that all of their information is consistent across all of the web. So there are a lot of different tools that we use to hopefully help make their lives a little bit easier and take a little bit of stress off of their plates because they've got a lot going on already. Another one that I'll just put a little plug in for that we started using on the Alphographic side last year, the year before. It's called Content Studio. So if anyone's looking for a social media management platform, very powerful and really great for franchises because you can have a login as a franchisor that allows you to see all of the different accounts. And then you can also give all of your franchisees specific logins for just for their accounts or multiple accounts. So super, really powerful program. So yeah, we're using a lot. We're always looking for ways to level up our tech here and make our lives easier, our franchisees' lives easier, and then hopefully in turn our customers' lives easier too.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously that's a pretty robust tech stack. So kudos there. I especially love the social media platform one, the Content Studio that you referenced, because that's a digital success story that does differentiate you from other franchisor brands that are out there and creates to show you what's possible when you have systemization. You don't get stuck in new old school marketing. You have the capability to forecast and look to the future. That's amazing.
Yeah. And the nice thing about Content Studio is that we can post things on their behalf for them. They can see what we're posting ahead of time. And then all of the analytics live in that platform as well. It also has some AI tools, and there are things that I don't even know how to use because it's very robust. So highly recommend that one.
I love it. AI is the future. Don't let it replace humans, please. Nobody. We don't want Terminator or anything like that happening, but we do want to leverage it as a way to do things faster, easier, better, right? So that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I know we touched on it a couple of times, but obviously PostNet is a part of a much, much larger system. Global, based in Milan. I think you said 3,200 or somewhere in that vicinity units globally. So that's not only amazing that you have that level of connectivity really across multiple brands, but ultimately, how does that scale benefit owners within the PostNet franchise?
The nicest thing or the coolest thing about Fortidia is that you'll never see Fortidia buy a brand that doesn't fit what we're currently doing. They're only looking for brands that are in the business services realm. You'll never see us buy a food franchise because we're not experts in that industry. So Fortidia as a whole, and our office in Italy is really cognizant of the different brands that they bring into the fold, into our portfolio, because they want to make sure that it adds value to everyone. It lifts all of our centers across the entire world with knowledge sharing and all of that. We specifically for PostNet, one of those brands is Mailboxes, etc., which is how Fortidia got its start. It was through Paolo Fiorelli and his family owned a couple of Mailboxes, etc., and then became very, very large from there and acquired a bunch of different brands, and here we are today. But that is a very similar business to a PostNet. And so it helps us because we can share information with one another about what's going on in that business services, that small B2B, B2C center format with our PostNet owners and take that learning from Mailbox, etc., and move it over to PostNet. So that's where things like virtual mail come from, or mailboxes, just in general, like how are we helping to promote these to potential customers? And we meet pretty regularly with the team at Fortidia and all across the world so that we can share these different ideas.
I love it. A service mindset, collaborated with entrepreneur energy, the capability to pull in multiple quote unquote communities that are all very similar in nature. It gives you the capability to just really reference things and escalate, go faster, better than you would if you only had the one brand, because you can learn from each other, both the good stuff and maybe even the stuff that didn't work. You could still learn from that as well. So that's fantastic.
And watching them roll out different things too to their networks and saying, hey, what worked well, or what were some of the pain points that you faced early on, and hopefully, like, if we decide to move forward with this product or service or this program, we can avoid that early on.
I love it. I love it. For somebody who's out there and considering franchise ownership, but maybe is stuck like in analysis mode where they're just like you're almost in a data dump of just give me more data, more data, more data, and they're paralysis by analysis type stage. What would you tell them to kind of get them past that into a place in which they can ultimately make a decision on if it's a right fit or a wrong fit?
Yeah. Franchising, to be completely honest with you, I didn't know that much about franchising until I joined these brands. And now I am a huge advocate for franchising. As long as you pick the right system, it needs to be the right fit as much as possible. Sometimes numbers look really great, but if it's not a good culture fit, it's not going to be a good long-term fit. And then I would also say basically, you have to make that decision of whether you want to start something yourself or you want to plug into a system, a proven system, and make it your own. It depends on the franchisor, right? Like some franchisors are going to say this is exactly the way that you have to do it every single time. Other ones are going to give you a little bit more creative leeway within brand standards, of course.
Sure.
But really looking for that, do I want to do all of this by myself? Can I do all of this by myself? We see that a lot in the printing and shipping industry too. It's hard to start an independent shipper because you have to go out and you have to get all of these contracts with carriers yourself, which is fine. But you also have to be the one that's managing that. They often don't give you good rates because you don't have any buying power compared to a PostNet that has 200 locations and then some across the pond in South Africa and other places too. So we have just more buying power, which allows us to get lower rates. So it just depends on, if you want to do it all yourself, or if you want to trust a proven brand, especially in an industry like business services where there are a lot of different things to think about. Even like printers. I mean, we get better rates on printers because we buy a lot of them for all of our different centers. And because we are part of a global brand that buys a lot of them. And so we can work with it. Yeah, we can work with an Epson or a Canon to get a better rate for a new franchisee compared to what they would probably get if they just tried to go and buy one themselves. So my biggest advice would just be, do you really want to do this yourself, or do you want to plug in? And is the industry that you want to be a part of something that you can easily do yourself too?
Love that. Love that. And it's virtually identical to what I tell my clients. Yeah, let's do diligence. Let's look at the numbers, but let's not get stuck in analysis mode. At some point, the numbers should tell you yay or nay as to whether or not you want to move forward and continue down validation steps and calls with existing owners and all the other things that you need to do to get to a place of making a decision, yay or nay, as to whether or not it's a good fit. I couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah.
If there's a audience member out there, somebody's watching this and they're like, this sounds like something I'm really, really intrigued around, where can they go to learn more or to connect with you and your team?
Join us on our website. Please go straight to our website, fill out a form. If not, opportunity@postnet.com is a very easy way to get in touch with our team too. Just shoot us an email and we will follow up with you as soon as possible. My team, I can't say enough good things about. They're really, really great. Being around salespeople is really fun, but being around like salespeople that are authentic and want you to make the best decision for yourself is really rewarding and makes my life a lot easier. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot lately about, just as an anecdote, about how important my role is as a marketing person on a franchise development team. We ask franchisees to trust us with their livelihood and trust us with their future, which is, it's a big deal. It's not just, pushing someone to go to a store and buy something. It's pushing someone to go buy the store. And so our team takes that very seriously. We want to make sure that you're making the best decision for yourself, your family, your future, and that it's going to be a worthwhile investment for you in the long run. So that's a long-winded way of saying email us at opportunity@postnet.com or fill out the form on our postnet.com website. We'd love to hear from you.
Love that. And if you didn't catch the links or want additional links for PostNet or any of the other brands that are within the Fortidia brand network, just scroll down. We're going to put all those links in the comments here, so you can just click the hyperlink and it'll take you right to them. You're also welcome to reach out to myself, obviously, and I'll be happy to connect you with Emily and the sales team there with the PostNet franchise. So, Emily, this was incredible. This was awesome. Y'all are scaling more than one brand. You're scaling numerous brands in a global network with confidence, opportunity, strategic clarity, a tech stack, a fantastic onboarding and training systems to help somebody ramp up. So this was amazing. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, thank you so much. Really, really proud of what we're doing at Fortidia, and always happy to chat. But really, thank you for your time.
Of course. And to everybody out there that is listening, if you're inspired by the idea of building something lean, purpose-driven, and profitable, don't miss the upcoming webinar with me at the end of this month, the 18-play exit readiness framework, the exact framework that resulted in $14 billion worth of deals through private equity. I'm giving it to you for free. Check the link for free registration down in the comments. It's the system that I use with founders to help them scale and double or even triple their EBITDA multipliers within 90 days or less. So thank you again to everyone. Until next time on the Franchise Growth Show, let's get out there, build strategically, do proper diligence, and not be stuck in analysis mode, but in decision-making fit mode. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Thank y'all.
Awesome.
Boom!